but you have not yet subscribed, again, it's a request, please do subscribe. So let's begin with today's discussion. Let's see what we have in store for day 7 of our training on data analytics using Microsoft Excel. Before that, let's do a quick recap of day 6. Yesterday, we looked at Way Lookup with match function, how we can use it along with match. We saw the limitations of Way Lookup and how now in Office 365, there is X Lookup that can take care of those limitations, helps us overcome those limitations. Finally, data validation lists. Okay, this is what we had covered yesterday. Now, what we will be doing today is we will focus on index and match. We will understand the two-way lookup. One demonstration I had given you all yesterday with X lookup, we will do it again and do it with index and match as well. Then with that, we will wind up our discussion on lookup functions, index, match, all these things. And we'll proceed to the next segment of our training where we focus on some basic text functions. Okay, for today, we will see formatting the data to some extent. And tomorrow we will move on to converting the data into tables and what kind of manipulation we can do on the data and the tables, cleaning of data and pivot tables. Okay, so that is the route map. Now let's discuss about the very first thing, index and match. But before that, let's do a quick recap on X lookup. Okay, so this is our data, something that we are familiar with. We have product name here, and each of these products, they belong to certain type like coffee or espresso or herbal tea or just tea. And the product line, they come under two different lines. They could either belong to beans or leaves. We have the profit and the sales of these products registered. Now the product is here on the towards the right. And we have to look for the information that is to the left of this product data, right? So V lookup will not help in this case, as we saw. We must make use of X lookup. So using X lookup, how do we fetch the product type? Equal to X lookup. Again, I repeat, this function is available in Microsoft Office 365, not in any of the other versions. So what is the lookup value? I would like to look up for this particular product, which is entered in here in this cell, H1. And where am I supposed to look up for it? I need to look up for it over here. I think I created a table. So let me first do one thing. I will just convert this back to a range. Okay. Let's treat it as a range and work with it initially. Equal to X lookup. Lookup value is the data in H1 cell, comma. We need to look up for it over here, comma, and we would like it to return the product type, which is in this particular column. So I selected that range of data and I will simply close it. Okay, I'm not doing anything else over there. By default, it will go with exact match and it will pick up the product type. So for this product, the product type is coffee, as you can see. Now, how can we make it easier for people to search for something? Is by creating the list. Okay, how do we create a list? Again, we can go to the data menu. Formulas. Okay, so formulas. And over there, what have I done? Okay, here the list is anyway present already. Let's do one more example. Okay, let's just go ahead. And what we'll do here is this time, I'm going to create named ranges for these things. Let me check if there are any. Under formulas, if you go here, okay, name manager, if there are any named ranges that we've already created, we can find them here. I'll quickly delete them, okay, because I want to do it again. All right. So we can also search by giving a named range, isn't it? So name manager, we can go there and see whether we have given any ranges. Here I have deleted everything. Now, how do you give names to the ranges of data, and how does it help us? It helps us with referencing, right? So just select the column and we can click on this option, create from selection. Okay, then I will go click here, click on this option, create from selection. The name that is supposed to be given to this range of values is in the top row. Means it will take product line as the name of this range. So I'll click here and click on the create from selection. It will take profit, the top row, the data in the top row as the name of that range. And I will create from selection. Okay, so sales. And this also we will give it a name range, top row, click on OK. So now if you go to the name manager, you will be able to see all the name ranges that have been defined and what does it refer to. By default, it's referring to these things. Okay. Now using the name ranges, if we build a formula, it becomes very easy for us. Lookup value is what is in H1. That will not change. The lookup array, I'll just press down the F3. I need to search for it in the product column. Okay, so now it's much easier to reference it. Comma, return array is the product line in this case that I want. So again, I'm pressing down F3 function key. Here is product line. Okay, and if not found what to do, I'm not telling anything because I have given a validation list, which means it is definitely, the user is definitely going to enter something that is valid itself from that list. Okay, and match mode, when we do not specify anything, by default it is 0, means it is going for exact match. Okay, and search mode, it will do from top to bottom by default. Search mode is whether you want to go from first to last or last to first. These kind of things can be specified by default from the top to bottom. So I'll just close the parenthesis there. So the product line for this particular product is beans. Okay, so by using name ranges, this is how it makes our life easier. What else can we do? We can convert this table, this range of data into a table. Now, how do I know that this is a range and it is not a table yet? Right? How would we know that this is just a range? It's not a table yet. That is, when you click anywhere inside the table, we don't see anything called as table or table design come up on the top, right? Which means this is a range. When you have converted it to a table, when you click inside a table, a new ribbon will come on the top. Table design or table. Okay, so that is how we know that it is a table. Right now, I don't see any such option on the ribbon. So this is a normal range. How to convert it to a table? You can do a command Control+T. Okay, but that will, as you can see, it has outlined the data in the table. So this whole thing is going to become a table. Or you could do a Control+A. Okay, the whole area will be selected. You have to click just anywhere in any one cell in the range. Click on any one cell in the range and do a Control+A. Then do a Control+T. Either way, it is the same, but I prefer doing Control+A before doing a Control+T. Even if you do directly Control+T, no problem there. Next thing that we need to remember here is our table has headers. Right? Our table has headers. The first one column here. In the first row for every column, the header is there. So this is selected and I'll click on OK. So there are different designs to choose from. Depending on what we choose, accordingly, this will change and all. Okay. Now that I have my data inside a table, we can go ahead and give a name to this table. It is again a good practice to give it a meaningful name rather than leaving it as table 1, table 2 and all. It becomes a little difficult then. So how do I know that this is now a table and not a normal range? Because I have the table ribbon come up. On different versions, it might be different. You might get table design ribbon or table ribbon, depends on the version. So here I have a table ribbon, which means I'm definitely in a table now. And here on the top left corner is where we can give a name to the table. Okay, so let's just call this coffee chain data. Now, one thing that you have to remember while giving names to the tables is do not use any spaces in between. If you have to segregate or give multiple words as the name, like I wanted to give coffee chain and data also. So if I give a space, it doesn't work. Should not do that. You can at least use some sort of a separator between them, maybe an underscore, a hyphen mark, something, but there should not be any spaces. Okay, I'll hit the enter key. That's the name of my table. So if we give a name to the table, how does it help us? Okay, let us see that. Equal to X lookup. Lookup value is the one in H1 cell, comma, lookup array is in a table named coffee chain. So I'm just I started to type in and it's showing me the name of the table. This one. How do we reference a particular column? You can open the square bracket. I need to look for the product given in the H1 cell in the product column. You see product column, and I'll close the bracket. So you can see the name of the table and the column inside that table. We are referencing the product column present in the coffee chain data table. All right, comma, return array. Again, from the coffee chain data, I need to return, or I need to bring back the profit information. So you can see the profit field. The moment I open the square bracket, profit field comes up. So once I choose profit and close the square bracket, you can see this is the return array. Okay. And it is even color coding if you notice. H1, there's a blue colored outline here. Coffee chain data product in red, it is highlighted. You can see red outline here and that shade. Coffee chain data profit purple. You can see a purple outline and a light purple shade given to the data, right? So it beautifully formats through color, helping us understand what's going on. So once I click the enter key, it pulls back the profit value. Okay, now if I go and change the value in this list to, let's say, green tea, everything has changed accordingly. Green tea is actually into losses. Okay, if I go ahead and change it to decaf Irish cream, you will notice how it has updated and it's giving us the profit. On similar lines, you can do it for sales also, right? So we are now pretty comfortable with XLOOKUP function. Okay. Now in versions of Tableau where XLOOKUP is not available, how do we achieve the same thing? So I will show it to you with a function called as index in combination with match. Index generally always is used in combination with match to figure out the row number, etc. It is very, very helpful. So let's go ahead and see how to do that. Okay, this is a new thing. So for now, just erase everything. Let's just focus on this. So let me just copy down this data. For whatever product the user enters over here, I need to find out what is the product type, the product line, the profit, and the sales. Okay. So before we proceed any further, I'll once again convert this data to a range. How do we convert data to a range? This is a table. So I have the table ribbon. When I click on the table ribbon, here there is an option called as convert to range. So once I do this, see, you can click anywhere in the table, go to the table ribbon, and then click on convert to range. Once this is done, you will notice how this becomes a normal range now. How do we know that this is a normal range and it is not a table anymore? Because there is no table ribbon on the top when I click in the data. Okay, this is a normal range. I will also do one thing by going to the formulas. I am going to clear all the named ranges that I created, because again, I would like to show it from the scratch. Okay, all my name ranges are gone. And here I'll enter the name of the product. Let's say I would like to look at this data for green tea. Okay, I need to look at this information for green tea. So how to bring the product type using the index function. This is the syntax. It is different from that of, the syntax is different from that of XLOOKUP. Okay, this is slightly different. Index. This will be there in no matter which version of Excel you're using, you will find it. Followed by index, you will see array. Okay, now this array, remember, is where we have to look up for the output value, meaning if I enter green tea here, I am supposed to pull back the product type, right? So this array is where do you want to look for the pullback value? Okay, where you have to look up for the value that you're trying to pull back as the result. Think of this like the return array. We will not specify where to search for the product. We will only specify where to search for the final output, the pullback array or the return array. So I need to search over here for product type because this is the column for product type, comma. I need to pick up product type from this column, but from which row in the column? You can see the syntax is asking us for row number. Green tea. So I'll have to count down. Where is green tea here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is in the 10th place. So from the 10th place, give me, meaning from the 10th row, bring me the data of present in this column. From the 10th row, bring me the data present in the product type column is what I'm saying. Now it will return the product type for green tea, which is tea. Okay, so if I change this, it has to change accordingly. Now let's make this a list so that it will be easier for us to select a value. I'll go up here in the data pane, in the data ribbon. Up here in this particular group, we have the icon for creating validation lists. Okay, this one, tick mark and stop symbol kind of a thing. I'll go to data validation. I'm trying to create a list with what data? With the data that is present over here. Okay, these values should appear in the list. By default, it will give all unique values. I think yesterday towards the end, I missed a question. Even if you created the list on data that is having multiple values, which are repeated also, by default, only unique values will appear in the list. Duplicates will not come. Okay, whoever asked that question yesterday, duplicates will not come. It is going to be a list of unique values. Okay. So as you can see, I now have the list. So depending on what I change this has to change. But why did this not change here? I made it mocha, but it's still showing me T. The reason is I'm hard coding the number 10 here, right? I've hard coded number 10. It's always referencing the 10th row. Now this hard coding has to be removed. How can we remove it? We learned it yesterday. When we are referencing a row number or a column number, how to remove the hard coding from it? We can remove the hard coding by using the match function. Because match is something that will bring us the row number and the column number depending on what we set up. Okay. So I'm going to replace number 10 with match. Match is going to get me the row number. Okay, but what row number for what? Row number for this product. Where is it supposed to look for that product? Over here. Okay, and we'll go with an exact match. So I'm not typing anything. If you don't give anything under match type, by default, it's an exact match. Now I'll hit enter. Yeah, one more arrow bracket was missing. So you see, depending on the product that I select here, the product type is getting updated. I hope you all understood. So we are referencing the table and fetching a value of our interest by using the index function. So I'll do it one more time. Please see, equal to index. Then open the bracket. Excel will start showing us the syntax, highlighting the next input that is to come, highlighting the arguments that we are supposed to provide here. Array. What is this array? Remember, this is the array where you have to look up for the final value, the pullback data array, where the pullback data is there. So I need to pull back the product line. So I will go and select product line, comma, for which row? For which row? So to figure out in which row the given product is, we use the match function. Open the bracket. So where am I writing the match function? In the place of row number. That is what you need to notice. In the place of row number, we're bringing the row number through match. Open. Lookup value is whatever we have here. Lookup array, it has to look up for that particular product in this row. Count down the row number. And for that row, it has to fetch the product line from that row. Okay. So I'll close it and close it again. That is beans. So Colombian, quick visual check here. It is beans. Suppose I change that to mint. Okay, a quick visual check. It is leaves. All right. Now we will do this by using named ranges. It's always a good practice to create named ranges. It makes really life easy while writing such complicated formulas. Name of that range is in the top row. So this will be product type. Another named range, product line, another named range, profit, another named range, sales, and the final named range I'll create from here, product. Okay, now using the named ranges, let us try to pull back the data equal to index. What is the array? What are we trying to get? Profit this time. So I will just hit the function key, F3. I need to pull back profit. Okay. From where? For which row? Profit is there. The entire column contains profit, but specifically which value? That is where match comes into play. Look up this value. In which column is it supposed to look up for the product? In the product column. So F3 again and product. Okay. So I'll close this. I'm going for an exact match anyway. So I'll just close this. Enter. So it has pulled back the profit of mint. Finally, I'm going to convert this into a table and show it one more time. So how do we convert our data into a table? We click there on any cell and then do a command Control A and a Control T. Direct Control T is also fine. Remember to keep this selected. My table has headers. Okay. How do we know that this is a table? Because there is the table ribbon. And remember to give a name to the table so that you can reference it very easily, because in one Excel, there could be multiple tables. I'm just calling it copy chain data 1. Okay, enter. Now, how do we build the formula? Syntax remains the same. The way we are referencing it is changing depending on how we design or how we either use named ranges or how we use a table. What is the advantage of using a table? It helps with expanding data. If new products are added into the table, the top table will automatically expand, and the search also expands and looks for the new values as well. So equal to index, the array. I need to now bring data from sales. So one thing is, because I have given the name, I'll start typing in the name, copy chain data, and then I'll open the square bracket. I need sales value, so I can just choose sales from there, comma, row number. For that, match will come into picture. We need to match this value. Lookup array, product. Now see, without typing in the table name, I will simply select the range. Even if I select the range, because my data is already in a table, even though I have just selected the range, okay, you can see how it has given the table name followed by that the column name. Okay, it's not just using the references like E2 to E14 now. It's giving us everything that we want. I'll close the bracket and hit enter. So we pull back the required data through index. Depending on whatever is chosen here, everything is getting updated. You can do a cross check. This is latte. Okay, let's go select something else, Darjeeling, and you can see how we have the data for that particular product over here. Okay, so that is how index and match work together, and they can help you to look for certain values in your data. Okay, so any doubts or questions? Let me just connect to YouTube. I was unable to connect. I'll just check if there are any questions now. Practice data set link has been provided na? Multiple times in every chat, we are providing it. Whoever has asked this, just go to the beginning of the chat. You will find the Google Doc from where you can take the practice data set. Okay, so I don't see any questions as such. So I think we can proceed further. Let's go ahead. So this was a normal lookup where we are looking up for a particular value in there. Now we'll do a two-way lookup. Remember, two-way lookup also yesterday we had done. Okay, let me clear this out first. Okay, you all know how to put a validation list, so I don't have to repeat that, right? You have seen it just now. So basically, I have created a list for these products over here. Okay, this is the list of products. And over here, I have created a list for the quarters so that user can select whatever product and whatever quarter they might want. And what we have to do here is we need to fetch the data for the given product and the given quarter. So it is a two-way lookup. Why am I saying it is a two-way lookup? Because we need to look not for only one cell. We need to, in a particular column or in a particular row, we need to look for the intersection of the column and the row. This is the value I'm interested in. Latte Q2. So I need to go to that row, then go to that column and pick up that number which comes in the intersection of these two, which is here, $2972. Hence, I'm saying that this is called two-way lookup. Yesterday, I think, again, I remember we had done a demonstration of two-way lookup using the X lookup function, right? Now we will do it using index and match. But again, just to give you all a quick recap, how do we do a two-way lookup with X lookup? Let's see. Here I need to pull back the data. Okay, over here I would like to see the data equal to X lookup. Try to recollect what we did. This is my lookup value. I need to look it up over here. Okay, comma. And in the return array, what will I do? I will use another X lookup function. Okay, another X lookup function, because after I go to the particular column, now I have to again traverse horizontally to reach the quarter that I'm interested in. So this is the lookup quarter. And I need to look up for the quarter over here, isn't it? Over here. And return, what is it that we are going to return? The data. Data present not in a specific column or data present not in a specific row. The data present in this entire table, in this whole data frame. So this whole thing is my return array. Okay, till now we were seeing one column as the return array. Now this whole area with data is my return array. And let me close that. So you can see it has picked up 2972 for latte in Q2. Suppose we change this to something else and this to something else. Accordingly, it will change. The numbers are getting updated, right? This is the intersection of decaf Irish cream with quarter 4. This is the cell 3201, which you can see over here. Okay, with X lookup, we are familiar with it. Now let us do the same with index. Okay, I'll do it with index. So I need to get the data for this combination, but I'm going to use the index function equal to index. Then the array. Array is what? This whole data. I need Excel to search for a value in this data, comma, and bring me data for decaf Irish cream. So I need to give the row number of that product. That is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row number 8, comma. Now we need to give the column number, which is optional, but in a two-way search, you have to give it. So column. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Fourth column. Quarter 4 is fourth column. And now it's supposed to pull back that value. You can see it pulled back the value, isn't it? But here what happened? A lot of hard coding is involved. I hard coded the row number and I hard coded the column number. Both of them have been hard coded. I had to count, literally count down to see where that particular product is, count across to see where the particular quarter is. Now let's get rid of the hard coding part. How to get rid of the hard coding part? We can do it using our match. So let's use match here for the row number. This is okay. So I need to look up for decaf Irish cream, where over here. All right. Sorry, syringe. This is the row number, comma. Now what about the column number? That also I will look it up. I'll use match. And I need to match up which one? Quarter 4. The data that is given in I2 has to be matched up. Where should I look up for that? Over here. So you are avoiding the hard coding by doing this. So once the row number and column number both have been given, we will close it and enter. So you see, without the hard coding, I've managed to do this. No hard coding now. Okay. So this is how we make use of index and do a two-way lookup if necessary. Let's do one more example. We will just give the table name. Okay. So for that, we need to convert this into a table. So let's go ahead, click here. I'll click into in the table, go to my, just Command A and Command T, that is Control A and Control T, or directly Control T, your wish. Okay, this is going to be a table. How do I know? My table ribbon has come. Let me give it a name. Two-way lookup data, I'm calling it. Okay, this is my two-way lookup data. Some problem there. Okay, I'll just call it lookup data. Okay, so that's the name of my table. Now in here, equal to index. So we are pulling back the data, right? We are pulling back the data that is present in the table. Lookup. I think the syntax is covering up the name of the table. This one, okay? The syntax is covering up the name, it's here. And then from which row and from which column? I need data from that table, okay, but from which row and which column? So match. This is my lookup value, and I need to look it up in the first column of the lookup table data. From this table, from the first column, which is product. Okay, comma. Again, match for the row number, right? Which is given here in I2, comma. Now I'll directly select it, okay? Even if we select it, it will give you the name. You see, we are looking up the headers from Q1 to Q2 in the lookup data. Understood? I had manually selected the headers, but because this is in a table, it's referencing the headers of that table, and the headers are Q1 to Q4. Now I will close this. That's it, no? One close, or two twice, because colors are not matching. That was the column lookup value, row number, column number. Yeah, some problem with the reference here. The colors have not matched, no? Here I didn't close it. Here I made a mistake. Yeah, this had to be closed, then this is closed. This should be fine now. Okay. So one bracket was missing. So this bracket for match, I had opened it, but I didn't close it over here. So it was giving me reference error. Now that I closed the bracket, it is working. So is it clear? This is what it has referenced. Okay, decaf Irish cream. Let's change and see. For this product, it's bringing data from quarter. Okay, it's bringing data from one prior to that, quarter prior to that. Okay, it's because it's referencing the entire data in the table, isn't it? So what we will do is, we'll simply do a +1. Okay, it's going from here on. Now it references correctly. Okay, so we're making it reference the correct quarter. So let's go to quarter 4 and you can see the data get updated. All the three are giving us the same data. Okay, because this was in a table array, so it's even considering this part, right? So it's looking here. All right, so when it returned column number 4, it is going here to quarter 3. But we don't want it to go to quarter 3. We want it to come to quarter 4 when we give 4, right? So the workaround I used is I just incremented the match with 1. So it goes to the correct quarter. All right, if I say quarter 1, it brings me data from quarter 1. You see all of them are working the same. And if I make it quarter 2, it fetches data from quarter 2. For whatever is the product that is selected over here, we are getting all the data. This is how we do a two-way lookup. Okay, Swati, I hope your doubts are also clear. So this is how we do a two-way lookup, friends. I hope it's clear. With this, we come to the end of our discussion on the lookup functions and on the index and match. So please do practice as much as possible because these concepts can be a little confusing. They are a little difficult also. So now that this part is done, we will move on today to some basic text functions. We'll learn working with some basic text functions and tomorrow pivot tables. So let's proceed further. I think people watching on YouTube also, there are no questions so far. So I hope it's clear to you all as well. Right. This data is too small. See, once your basic formatting things, okay, we'll go on a lighter note now. Basic formatting when data is given to you or when you're entering the data into a sheet, things to remember is don't adjust the font size. Adjust the font first of all so that it's easier for people to understand and read. So I'll do a Control A. The overall size of the font in this sheet, I want it to be 20. So you see it has become bigger. Now I'm going to select all the columns. And then when you double click at the edge here, all the column size is adjusted to make sure that the data fits into that column. Further, if you want to increase it a little more, you can just go and make it wider. Okay. One other thing we can do with our data is highlight the header. Whichever tables or whichever ranges of data we are dealing with, if they have a header, it's always good to highlight the header. By using a different background color, you can center the titles. Okay, this is the alignment. Then you could give nice borders around that range of values like that. Okay, now this is my data. So I would simply give about border out overall border like this. There are different ways in which we can give borders to the cells, to the columns and all that. You can check out, a lot of options are there. Now this is my data. And you can notice that what I have here is the customer first name as a separate column, last name as a separate column, person is residing at that place and residing since. So these three are basically text values. So we can go ahead and do some sort of data cleaning here by assigning the data type as text. Okay, and these two are also text values. So directly all text. This is date. Okay, I already assigned date as the data type. By default, it is short date. Okay, so it's coming like this. If I go and use long date, then it will give it much more clearly. Space may not be sufficient. You might have to increase the size of the column when you use long date, like that. Okay, I think for now we will keep it as short date. That's it. Okay. Now, given this data, let's say I need to create something or I need to come up with the customer full name. First name and last name are given separately, but I need the full name of the customer for my analysis in one field, not as two separate fields. So let's do that first. I need the customer name. Just to introduce you all to some basic functions, text functions, I will do it in a slightly roundabout manner. Then I will show you how to do it in a much, much easier and quick way. Okay, there are some flash fill options which we can use. So how do I create the customer name here is I need to take the first name and combine the last name with it. So we need to put these two names together, concatenate them. Okay, so there is a function concat. You will see two of them. Concat is there and concatenate is there. This is now replaced with concat. So once you'll upgrade to the latest versions, you may never come across concatenate. This will be removed. Further down, a few more versions down the line, this might get removed and you will get only this. This is the latest. Okay, this is compatibility, but this is the latest. Concat. What is it that I would like to concat? Text 1, then text 2, then text 3, so on. So I need data from here, comma, text to data from here. These two are supposed to be put together, concatenated. So what will happen when I do this? Let's see. Claire, first name, Gyut, last name combined into Claire Gyut. But again, it would be nice if we can have a space between the two, right? Between the first name and the last name. It's good to have a space. So how do we manually insert a space? Just open the quotation marks, hit the space key on your keyboard and close. Again, comma. Okay. So I'm introducing space like this. Enter. Now you can see the space has come. Okay. Now, how do I pull it down? How do I fill the rest of the data? It's just by pulling it down. That's it. Job done. You see, it has pulled down the data. Okay. Now here, let's say I want to store it in a different way. I want something like this. Claire, comma, space, Gyut. Okay. Harold, comma, space, Pollen. Pete, comma, space, Chris. Then what to do? Just insert. So I will insert comma and a space. Got it? Comma, then space. And these are coming in double quotations. Okay, like this. Now let's copy this down. Okay. Is there an easier way of doing it? Do we have a workaround or an easier way of doing it? I'll just clear it off. I'll type in Claire space Gyut. This is what I want. First name combined with last name. Click out, click back inside. Go to the data ribbon. And here we are earlier used data validation, right? In that group itself, you will see something called as flash fill. So when I click on the flash fill, okay, I think it doesn't have enough data. Let me do it one more time. Harold. Pollen. Okay. Enter. And click on the flash fill. Go back and click on the flash fill. Let's try. Okay, it's not working. Generally, it works. Sometimes, okay, no problem. I'll show you with another feature. So let's go back and do it with formula. So concat. Text 1. Open quotation, comma, space, close quotation. Comma, text 3 is my last name. So done, concatenated. And I'm just simply going to copy it down. All right. Now let's say this is the name given to us. Let's say we have a column where we are given the customer name. Okay, let me copy that data. So, reference problem. You see reference problem. Why? Because I'm trying to copy it from here. And these are all basically formulas, right? Which are referencing certain values. I just want to copy them as values, right? Without the references and all. How do we make this data? Because when I click here, you can see that it's showing the formula which was used to come up with or to fill in that cell with data. Whatever data we have in this cell is a result of this particular formula. That is what it is storing internally. Okay, I don't want that. I just want the value. So I'll just do a copy here. Okay, and here itself, let me replace it with values. How? By going to the paste option, we have something called as paste values. So when I click on paste values, so this data now is replaced with just values. You see, it's not showing me the formula. I computed it with the formula, but now I made it remember only the values. Okay, so let me copy and paste it over here. So there's no problem. This is customer name. Control E or flash fill, somehow it didn't work over here for me. This is there, no? So when I go to the data and try to do a flash fill, it should work, but it's not. No. Anyway, I'll check that. We'll do flash fill with another example. So here what I'm saying is, supposing the name is given to you like this. Okay, suppose the name is given like this, and I need to split it out into first name and last name. So how to do that? Okay, we will talk about how to split it. Again, simply because I want to introduce a few text functions to you all, I will do it in a slightly roundabout manner. Okay, first what I'll do here is, let me bring the length of the string. Okay, there is a function called as len. What len will do is, it will give you the length of the text. So I need to know what is the length of the text over here. And I will simply copy it down. Okay, so this is in total 12 characters in length. This is 14 characters in length. Pete, Chris, 10 characters in length. Why 10? Pete is 4, Chris is 4. There's a comma and a space. 4 plus 4 plus comma and a space. That is 10 in total. Okay, so on and so forth. Now this is the length that I obtained. Now I would like to find the position where the comma is. Find the position where the comma is. So how to find the position of the comma? We have a function called as find. Okay, find. What is it that I want to find? I have to give that text. So I'll give it in quotation marks. Comma is what I want to find. Where am I supposed to find it? Within where? I need to find it in this name. Okay, so I'll close it and click enter. Comma here is in the 7th position. Let me copy that down. So to find for a certain value, find the position of a certain character or text in a text field, you can use the find function. So here's the formula. I'm finding for the comma. Here it is in the 5th place. Ken Black, it is in the 4th place. Tracy, it is in the 6th place, comma, so on and so forth. Now using this and this data, I'm going to pull up the first name and the last name. How to get the first name? From the left side of the string, I'm going to count whatever number of characters are there before the comma or up to the comma. So this is how many characters till the comma? Comma is in the 7th position, right? Comma is in the 7th place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place is the comma. We need everything prior to that. From the left side of the text. So equal to left of this text. How many characters? Whatever we got through the length, through this function, find function. Okay. So what will this do? It will give me along with the comma. Claire, along with the comma, it is giving me like this. But we need to get rid of the comma, right? So we will just do a -1 over here. So that the comma is removed and we get the other data. Copy it down. So I hope you all understood how I managed to bring the first name. Everything prior to the comma is the first name. So I search for the position where the comma is. And before the comma, whatever characters are there, I have taken them. That is the formula I used here, left. Now how to bring the last name? This is from the right side we will start. Okay, we'll start from the right side of the text. And how many characters should we go? I'm going to take the length of the complete string minus the place where I found the comma. From here, go back how many till the place I found the comma. So how to build the function? I will say right. From the right side, you start. Okay. Get the data from this field. That is the text field. How many characters to bring? Is length minus position, whatever is that we get. When I do length minus position, 12 minus 7, I get 5. So from the right side, it will bring me 5 characters. So we got the last name. But if you notice here, there is a space before the last name. Because what did we do? Length minus the position, right? 12 minus 7, 5. So ETUG, 4 characters and the space before that. So to get rid of spaces, there is a trim function that can be used. So I'll go here up in this formula bar and I will wrap this whole thing in the trim function. So what will trim do? It will just remove any spaces that might be there. Trim. Okay. So now the space is gone. You can notice the difference between the two, right? Space is gone. Let me pull it down and autofill. Okay. So splitting the data into two different columns. Earlier we saw concatenation. Now we've looked at split. Now there is another way of doing it. Let's see if it will work or not. So I need the first name and I need the last name over here. So I'll just type in Claire, which is the first name. Click down, click back up, and let me check if flash fill works over here. Flash fill there. This is called flash fill. It's pretty magical. All I did was I typed in Claire, and then when I used flash fill, Control E is the keyboard shortcut if you might want to use it directly. Now you notice how it understood the pattern and it automatically filled the rest of the data. Now let's go here and do it for the last name, Gute. Okay, I'll click down, click back in, and click on the flash fill. Like magic, you can see it worked. Okay, this is a very, very interesting feature. It's just like magic here that it's doing. So basically, it's identifying the pattern. And there's nothing like magic. It's identifying the pattern and it's doing it, which appears magical to us. So this is a much, much easier way of doing it. Hassle-free, isn't it? I had to get the length. I had to find the position of the comma. Why comma? Why not something else? Because comma is the one that is separating the first name and the last name. So I was basically trying to find the position of that separator, which happens to be the comma here. Then based on that, I obtained the first name. And based on that, I obtained the last name. Okay, and this on the other hand, hassle-free. Like magic, flash fill will do the work for us. Okay. So now a few more very basic functions. Observe the case of these names. They are not in a proper case, isn't it? Some place we have all caps, some place we have all small letters, some place we have proper case. What is proper case? This is small case, isn't it? All in small letters. This is uppercase. But when you have the first character in capital and the rest of the characters in the word in small letters, okay, this is called proper case. This is lower case. This is uppercase. This is called proper. So let us bring some case uniformity. The data does not look clean if we leave it like that. Okay, if we leave it like that, it doesn't look clean. We need to clean it up properly. So equal to, suppose you want everything in lower case. So we use a function lower. Lower, what will it do? This is the text I want to work with. It will convert your data into lowercase. Okay, let's copy it down. Then we have something called as upper. What will it do? It will convert the text into uppercase. So you can see the function upper converting our text into uppercase. We also have a function called as proper. And when I found this, I was very happy initially, because when we do it on other tools like Tableau, etc., it's a very tedious process. To get your data into proper case itself is one big thing. So here we have a function that will convert our data into proper case. You see that? Beautifully, it converted it into proper case. Let's see if flash fill works. No, here in this case, it's not working. So flash fill, you have to check if it is working fine. If it doesn't work, you have to do it through formula. Okay. So yeah, that's it from my side today, friends. These were some basic functions, text functions. Let me give you a brief introduction to tables before we wind up for the day, because tomorrow we will focus on tables and then pivot tables, post which we will proceed towards the charts. Okay. So I hope you all understood the functions. We talked about the length function. We spoke about find. We spoke about upper, lower, and proper case functions. The left function, the right function, and the trim function. Okay. Now, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, or those of you who are visiting the channel for the first time, please do subscribe. And if you found the session interesting, please do hit the like button before you leave the session. Okay, don't leave without hitting the like button. And those of you who are coming for the first time, I would recommend that you go back and watch the previous 6 sessions of videos also. It would definitely help you. So that's it. Let's proceed to look at tables now. Okay, this is my data, isn't it? This is our data. Let me clear up all the formatting that I did, not use any background fill, nothing. Okay, this also I will make it normal and left aligned. I'm not going to use any borders. I'll just say no borders. Simple text. Okay. Now, the moment you are given any data to analyze, this is not a table by default. You might feel that everything is arranged into columns and rows. Then why is it not a table? It is not. How do we know it's not a table? Because when we click anywhere inside it, the table ribbon is not there. That is one thing. Then, if we want to convert the data into a table, as we've been seeing, we click anywhere in the table, anywhere, any one cell. You do a Control T. It is going to highlight the entire data present in the table, and you see it has given the range. My table has headers over here, so I'll click on OK. The moment we do this, the table ribbon will come, and this is the table design. You see, by default, it has taken this one. If I want to change it, I can change it. We have so many other options. We can click on this down arrow. We can choose from a variety of options available. Let's say I want to use this kind of a thing. Accordingly, the font also will change. You see, it changes. Okay, so we can decide what should be the table design. When you click outside the table ribbon goes away. You can't access the design anymore. Only when you click inside the table, you will find it. Then some very basic things are over here. How else do we know that it is a table? Okay, one thing is you can search for the table ribbon. The other thing is the moment you convert your data into a table, generally by default, this drop-down icon will come, from where we can go ahead and sort the data, or we could filter the data. So we will discuss about sorting and filtering a little later on in the training. We will cover that in detail. So you will get see the options to sort and filter. Next thing is, here in this styles, we can do certain things. You see banded rows. Now let me use a different shade maybe to show the bands very clearly. Okay, you see one row has a light orange shade, the next one white, then an orange shade, because that is the style I'm using. These are called banded rows. If I uncheck this, those will go away. The banded kind of thing goes away. The band goes away. It's just like that. By default, you will get banded rows. Okay, you can remove it. There is banded columns. If we want, we can even do that. Every alternate column is colored with a different shade and it looks like a band. Header row is there over here. If I uncheck, it will go away. If I select, it will be back. Okay. First column has been made bold. Last column, that can be made bold. Okay, if you want to highlight the first column or the last column. Here we don't have any numerical data, but if we have, we can even show the total row wise total. So let's take this one. I can go ahead and show total. So entire data's total is coming over here. Understood? So we can even show the total if at all there is any numerical data. And then the filter button. The filter button. By default, filter button will come where people can sort and filter using this. But if we don't want the default filtering button to be there, if we uncheck this, it will go away. Okay, the filter button is gone. If I select it, it will come. So these are some options that we have in here. Okay, we have different designs to choose from. This is a set of data that we can use and manipulate the structure of our table. Then remove duplicates. We will talk about this, and converting to a pivot table and all we will do tomorrow. Always give a name to the table. It will be much easier to work with the table when you provide a name. Means you can remember it easily. Now, how do I convert it back to a normal range? Is simply again on the table ribbon is this option convert to range. It goes back to becoming a range. Basic introduction I wanted to give. here we shall stop for today. Thank you all so much. Please do continue your support. Please do like the videos and share them with your friends, with your colleagues, with your, maybe children in your family who are learning data analytics, who are in colleges. So the more you share, the more it would reach out to many people. Okay. So that's all we are asking of you, to kindly help us promote. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow's focus, pivot tables. We can sort, Swati. We can sort the data even without filters. I will show it to you. We will be using this sort and filter option. Okay. Okay. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.